shine when the light grows dim. Sing 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it.
Welcome back to another episode of Fear of a Flat Planet, presented by Toyota. I am your new host, John Leslie, two-time Paralympic snowboarder, and I am stoked to be here today with SANDRINE HAMEL. SANDRINE, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. What's up today? What have you been up to? Where are you?
I'm in my basement right now.
Nice.
And today I've had a strength and conditioning session, and also I've started taking drum class. So I did that this afternoon.
You took a what?
You're confused right now.
A drug test?
Drum class. No, drum.
Oh, a drum class. Oh, so your basement, the drum class. Where is all this happening? Where in Canada are you?
I live an hour from Montreal, so it's pretty much in this area.
Nice. Sweet. Okay. Well, I know this, but the people tuning in do not know this. Where was your last training camp? You just got back from a training camp, did you not?
I did. You were there, actually.
I was. I know.
You were there.
Believe it or not, I know this story.
Yeah. And so John and I, we were at Sunshine Village for a week, and we were doing a bank slalom training camp.
Nice. And I didn't see you on the last day. Was there a particular reason behind that?
John? Who told you that story?
Lisa told me that story as she was dying in the start gate. So for those of you who don't know, SANDRINE, Sarah, Lisa, was Nadine there?
Nadine.
No, they went out for sushi and got food poisoning on the last day of our training, and they had to skip the final day because they were just sick, eh?
Yes, it is rough.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, only Lisa made it, and she's like a hero. I believe.
I don't know if you could count that as making it.
Oh, she looked that bad?
Oh, she was riding, but that was the only thing she was able to do, I think. Breathe and ride. She wasn't talking, like just drinking water. Like yeah, it was good.
Okay.
So that was a bad part, but like, did you get to ride in the new Canada snowboard vehicle at all? Like, did you get to whip in that with Greg, or were you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And even in our previous training camp too, I think Toyota's been really good with us. I'm grateful to have them as a partner, obviously. That's
awesome. Yeah, I know. When I drove by Greg in the truck or in his like 4Runner, I was just like, okay, like I'm just driving around in my 2000 Tacoma, like I'll put a sticker on my truck. Like
I know. Yeah.
That's awesome. So it's been a weird year, obviously, this year. What did kind of training look like for you? Like I know you, like we were both kind of in Pano in November when that second wave hit, and then we pivoted. Like we thought we were probably going to go to Europe, but what'd you do? Were you in Montreal, like Canmore? Where'd you spend most of your season?
We were training in Canmore for almost the whole season. Yeah. We spent 2 months there, starting from November, and then pretty much the rest of this season we were training at Sunshine again. And they were great with us to build us stuff, and we were able to have really good training camp, actually.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think it was sweet. There would have never been another year for Greg to be able to like establish such a good connection with a local ski hill like that, and for them to build. Because do you know that Ben, like the cat driver, is the guy who built us the courses in 2018?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
So yeah. So it was Ben and Lucas from Snowpark Arena. They built our course in Pyeongchang, and Lucas is based in Whistler. He builds the park here, and Ben is based in Sunshine, and he builds the park there. So that's why he kind of knows how to have already built like para courses, because he was there to build it.
For the listeners, what's a pair of courses, John?
Right? What is a paracourt, Sandrine?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
What does that mean?
I don't know. What does that mean to you?
Okay, well, I guess to me it would mostly be the way they maybe build jumps. So if you like, I don't know, it's
Where the
just basically
transition
that
is?
the maybe the way they shape the landing, or that if you for some reason case it, you're not gonna die, basically.
Exactly. And that's what's so
Take
nice
that as a
about like
quote.
the border cross tracks is like, it was probably really easy for Sunshine to like turn it into a public track. And
Yeah.
then I would assume with our bank slalom, they probably didn't even have to change it at all. Like if you're hitting any of those jumps and rails, you're going to hurt yourself way worse than in our bank slalom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, because you got to think also they built it for example, someone who's got one knee.
Yeah. Or Tyler, like missing both their legs, like,
yeah,
you know, so,
crazy.
you know, and that would not hold up in court. Like if you're like suing Sunshine and you're like able body and you're like, I went through the parabank slalom and like now I need some money, they'd be like, they'd show you a video of Tyler and they'd just be like, no.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Cool. So yeah, so we're both snowboarders. Obviously we've been talking a little bit about the team and, you know, where we've been most recently, but you know, I'm even a little bit curious about this. Like, how did you get into snowboarding? Like, you obviously probably started able body, or how did all that start with you?
I started first skiing from what I remember. But we quickly figured out that it wasn't gonna work. So I switched to snowboarding. I was about 8 years old and I was going to school. It was like a ski program where we would go, well, snowboard, whatever, how you want to call it. We would go twice a week. It wasn't ever as like thinking about racing. I would actually do other team sport with able-bodied, mostly basketball. And it's later that I found out about that para snowboard was actually like I could compete as an athlete in snowboarding. Yeah. And it's by watching you and Michelle on YouTube at Sochi.
Crazy.
Like, oh shit, it's actually a thing.
Actually,
and here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. Yeah,
10 years later almost. That's awesome. Yeah. Cool. So
yeah, you're a hero.
Oh man.
You're a national hero.
Don't worry, I know already.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's crazy. So 8 years old, you switched from skiing to snowboarding.
Yeah. I didn't even, honestly, full disclosure, I didn't even enjoy it at first.
Oh, really?
Like, I didn't even like it that much. I know.
You're like, I like this more than class, though.
I liked it, but not like today. I do that. I do like, I'm snowboarding every day, especially when I'm in training camp. And at the time, I didn't even like it. So it's kind of funny when I look back.
I feel like I can relate a lot in terms of seeing an opportunity. I could potentially go to a Paralympic Games.
Well, you know that I'm really competitive.
Yes.
So I like right now, obviously I enjoy it. Like I enjoy training and I enjoy snowboarding. But at the time, it was just like I liked it, but it something was missing. That's what I'm trying to say, basically.
Yeah. So like you saw this as an opportunity for you to compete fairly. For the first time probably in your life, you would actually be able to see where you stand against someone else with a similar disability.
Yeah, but even like when I was playing basketball, to be fair, I didn't even mind that it was with able-bodied.
Yeah. No, I was the same. Like I used to play hockey with able-bodied. I just like getting out there. Like it was that or sit at home, and it was like, well, I'm not going to sit at home. So
yeah, I just figured I got this. And I guess I survived.
You're good at basketball. You've kicked my butt in basketball. I don't even play with you anymore.
I think it's for the running part that is a problem for us.
Dude, yeah. At least you can shoot. When you can't run or shoot, oh boy. Like,
that's why.
So in 2014, you kind of saw this video of Michelle and I.
Yeah.
And then did you reach out to Canada Snowboard? How did your relationship with Canada Snowboard kind of start? Was it positive? Was it negative? Like, tell me about that.
I contact Quebec Snowboard first.
Yeah.
And then they referred me to Kim,
Nice.
Super Kim, which shout out
Super
to her.
Kim.
Super Kim.
I love Kim
And-
too. Yeah. Shout out to Kim.
So yeah, and then she put me in contact with the coaches, and then they invited me to my first camp, Yukon, in 2016, 17, no 16, yeah.
Crazy.
And yeah, you were there. I remember.
I was. Yep.
You're really good with the rookies. So shout out to John too.
Yay.
Seriously. No, but for real, like it's like nerve-wracking at first, especially because I wasn't as comfortable in English. So I remember that first training camp. I was almost as exhausted from snowboarding than speaking to you guys.
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
That's crazy. It's always nice to talk to teammates because we've all had such different ways onto the team, and I couldn't imagine how much more challenging it would be to do everything I did, same as you, but then also have imagine if I did it reverse, like if I went to Quebec and I had to do all this in French. Could you see me surviving? Yeah. So you got into disabled snowboarding. Obviously, we're kind of on that subject. I have a pretty good idea of what the male and guy side of the sport, the community is like we have a pretty good community. I'd say just the whole squad has a good community. What's the girl community like? Do you guys have a good within Canada? Obviously I know the answer to that question, but within Canada, you guys got a good squad, internationally, what's it like for you being in the disabled snowboard community?
I've never heard the term disabled snowboard community before.
Well, that's what you're in, man.
That's what I sign up for.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think within the team, we're really competitive with each other. So that brings, I think, a really good energy. And even on the international level, I think it's the same thing for you guys, but at some point we can all relate to just being I don't say born differently, or you don't have to explain it. You don't have that awkward questions, or they don't seem awkward when they ask. Not that I don't have any problem with questions, but you don't have that.
That's good. That's great to hear. I'd say I have very similar, there's a very good balance of competitive nature, but also support,
Yeah, I think you would probably say the same thing. At the top of the course, it's different than when we're eating breakfast.
Yeah, or bowling.
Or bowling or whatever we're doing. But after the race, we're all friends. When we're at the top of the course, it's showtime. So everybody's doing their thing.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that the female side is the same as the male side on that one, because it makes traveling and competing a lot easier when you're going to go visit some friends on top of your teammates.
Right. That's actually one of the things that I miss the most from
last
season is not being able to.
That's half my friends. I haven't seen Mati in a year. He's one of my best friends.
Do you cry at night because of that?
No, we text each other.
Oh, okay. That's peace.
Cool. So that's awesome to hear. You're kind of similar to me in terms of you very much came up all able body. You've kind of dipped your toes in disabled snowboarding now. Mm-hmm. How do you see the contrast back of how accepting able body snowboarding is with disabled snowboarding? I know your disability is really hard to see. So do you run into conflict on the hill? Do you normally find that people are pretty accepting? What's your experience with that?
The way we work together and what they do, in a way, we're training and we're racing. That's what we're doing, and that's what they're doing. So I think we can all relate to that. Doesn't matter if disabled or not. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
The only difference basically is that we're not racing the same course, and sometimes in training we are. So, and I think that doing that, even for them, we become like any other rider.
Yeah. No,
And I don't know for you, but I never felt like I was treated differently.
no. I think I've always gotten the opinion that they're really accepting. Like when they find out that they're, because like you think about it, most people may not even know that there's such thing as disabled snowboarding. Why would they think about it? Do you sometimes get tired of having to like tell the story or trying to explain to someone like what's going on here?
Not really, because I don't have to explain it.
It's pretty visual enough for people.
I 100% avoid it most of the time.
Oh,
to be
yeah,
honest.
nice.
I'm like, I hate to say it. I'm gonna say it because well, I don't do it anymore, but I would. I don't know if I should say that.
No, say it.
I'll tell them like a random story that is not even true.
Oh, I've done that before too. Oh, for sure. There's probably
What's your go-to?
Shark Attack. What's your go-to?
Oh, me too.
Really?
I would go with Shark Attack even if it makes no sense.
That makes no sense.
I would usually like pick up.
That makes no sense. But people don't know that. Actually, let's rewind a second. Why wouldn't that make any sense? Okay, so for the viewers, people that are listening to the podcast online, I have an artificial leg below the knee. So I've got my leg chopped off below the knee on the left. Sandrine's a little bit different. Sandrine, probably better for you to dive in on this, but want to explain your disability to everybody so that they can laugh with us on the jokes?
Now I can't lie. I can't say it's the Shark Attack. No, it's not true. It's mainly, I think the best way to describe it, in my case, it's more like I have a leg that is stronger than the other one.
Yeah.
And I also have a scoliosis, so that means that my spine is shaped like the letter S. Mm-hmm. So that affect mostly I would say the posture and the legs, the strength. I have one that is stronger than the other one. So I think in fact the way I walk, that would be more like I've heard someone say it was like a pimp walk. And I like that. I think it's like
awesome.
Limp, but yeah.
First impression of Sandrine, just a pimp.
I walk like a pimp. Yeah. It's like the best way to like picture it.
No, that makes sense. But you're not missing any body parts. But you just tell people
I'm not. That's why
by a shark. Where did you get bit when you tell people this?
I haven't used the shark one in a long time.
Okay.
As an adult, I'm not using it. I like, because it happens to people for real. So that's why I'm like, okay. I just go for I was born like that. And usually it doesn't bring
that's not
follow-up
fun
questions,
at all.
Which is the truth. And it's I know.
That's how I felt. I thought having cancer was actually a pretty cool story until we got onto the para circuit. Cool. So again, we'll give our listeners a little bit more of a deep dive here. They may not know this, but Sandrine, you're actually a pretty badass snowboarder. You're actually kind of well decorated now at this point in your career in terms of World Cups and World Championships and do tours and stuff like that. What I would like to ask you about, because I've been there, is what was harder for you to come back from? Getting in a car accident before do tour, or not being able to breathe before do tour?
That was a fun day.
Those were two separate days, right? That wasn't the same day, was it?
No, it was the same day. On our way there, we had a car accident.
Oh my goodness. I thought those were two separate years.
No.
Okay, so Sandrine, what year was that? The best do tour of your life?
What was that? That was like 2-3 years ago.
So Sandrine has it's asthma, right? You have really bad asthma.
Well, it's more that my spine is like putting pressure on my lungs, so my like lungs capacity is not the greatest.
No.
So high altitude is like my worst. Like.
And why are we at high altitude? Where's do tour?
Breckenridge. So.
And that sits at like higher than the peak of Whistler is lower than where we sleep in Breckenridge.
Yeah. So yeah, if I had to pick, it's definitely the part where I can't breathe.
Yeah. So
But
Sandrine at this whole contest, which I for some reason thought was the year before, has like an air tube with oxygen going on. If that's not like enough of a distraction before a contest, we got in a car accident on the way to the hill. So we're laughing because Sandrine that day literally would have had to go from car accident to getting hooked up to oxygen to racing, which if anyone's ever raced before, that would be very hard to mentally come back from. And how did you do at that race?
we got bronze, John. We
You
made
got
it.
bronze.
But
You got bronze.
I think this time was a team effort. Shout out to the doctor too.
And this mobile driver.
Showing up, this training just for my 2 run and then back to the medical tent.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Such a
I
good
can't
day.
believe that was the same year. I wrote down in my notes that that was 2 separate years. So that's great.
And
Wow.
the
Good for
same day.
you. The mental strength. You can handle anything now. Like bring it on.
Yeah.
So what's been your favorite memory on the team so far? And if you can't think of like the absolute greatest memory, maybe just tell me a story of like a good time that you've had on the para team.
Probably the games, obviously. And when we had a training camp in Dubai, that was crazy.
Oh, that was so cool. Yeah, that was a fun
so
experience.
sick.
Yeah.
I mean, when are you going to have the chance to say that you went to Dubai for snowboarding?
Yeah, and like just with your team, like Owen and that other guy, forgetting his name right now.
Oh, and we almost passed out when we went to Dubai.
Who did?
You and me, because of the heat. You don't remember? When we were walking around, we had like a heat stroke.
We did?
Yeah. You were about to catch on fire and we were seeing stars waiting for the taxi.
I can't remember this. It makes sense that I don't if I was like going through heat. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I do remember this.
Like, how do you not remember that?
I just took me a second.
We were both seeing stars.
Like, oh my gosh. I remember jumping in like the ocean and it was not cold. You were just like, how do I cool down in this spot? Like, oh my gosh, that's too funny.
Oh, yeah. That was another good one.
Too funny. Cool. So we've kind of covered everything. Like we've kind of gotten, you know, how you got into snowboarding, disabled snowboarding, a couple funny stories along the way. What does the future hold for Sandrine? What are your plans? Obviously, is 2022 on the radar for you, Beijing?
I'm planning on quitting like 2 weeks before the games.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Good to know. Well,
I didn't tell anybody yet, so that's how I'm going to tell everybody.
This is how you're doing retirement. All right. We all have our own ways.
No, well, yes, ideally it would be obviously the next games. Got to start by we need to qualify first.
Yeah.
I think we're both in the same situation. Well, everybody is. So yeah, I think it would be Beijing, but for now I'm just thinking about the next camp.
Yeah,
like,
in May.
With COVID, you never know. So I go more like step by step.
Cool.
Before, yeah,
and then
you never know.
What about like outside of snowboarding? Like you're gearing up for Beijing. It sounds like you're playing the drums.
Yeah, no drug class.
We dove into drum class. We dove into your basketball a little bit. People may not know that you also box.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything else going on the side for you in the coming future, or are you? I know this, like you're taking things really seriously for 2022. So are you pretty much aligning everything for snowboarding, or is there anything else going on?
I know that this summer I'm going to continue trying to learn how to ride a dirt bike.
That's sick.
The other thing that I'm thinking about doing, which I need to think about this and be smart, obviously, because I've never learned how to ride a bike, and I decided that it was a good idea to buy a dirt bike because I love to make that decision. So that's what I'm planning to do. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So if I
have it last year, I think I know this. How long have you had your bike for?
One summer.
One summer. Okay. So you want to
So
ride a
I
little
still,
bit more?
I still suck. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's fine. Hey,
So
we all suck at some point.
we all do.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what I'm. So that's what I'm planning to do. Yeah, trying to obviously try different things to make it not too boring.
Do you have any like bad disabled stories for us or like misconceptions?
Well, no, I don't have bad stories actually. Can you believe it?
No, that's good.
Really?
It has to do with your character. You know, you're avoiding most of these situations, and Sandrine is very chill, letting things roll
Yeah.
off her shoulders. We could all take a little lesson out of her book. Um, amazing. So I think we're pretty good. How about like if anyone out there wants to follow you or anything, any type of projects that you're up to, like what's the best way if I wanted to follow your journey to 2022? How would I do that?
You can follow me on my Instagram.
What's your
Sandrine
Instagram?
HAMEL.
Definitely
Exactly.
a solid follow, Sandrine.
Thank you.
Amazing. Well, if you have anything else to say, I think we're gonna wrap it up here.
Sweet.
I
was
super
fun.
appreciate your time. Shout out to our sponsor, Toyota. Thank you to the listeners for listening, and we'll catch you guys next time.